Alrighty, guys, one big lesson that I've learned in doing this, in covering movies and talking about them and podcasting and things like that, is never make assumptions. Because assumptions, I mean, they kind of get you in trouble. You assume some things about, oh, of course this character is going to show up here, and of course, and they don't always pan out. And it's just important not to make assumptions. Case in point, in today's segment, one of the assumptions I had been making was that Punisher, Frank Castle, played by Jon Bernthal in the MCU, now the MCU, because he had been originally playing him in the Marvel Netflix universe, which is now pretty much canon in the MCU. Frank Castle, I was assuming, was going to appear in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. He was a pretty big supporting character, all things considered, in Season 1, despite the fact that he only shows up for a few episodes, but especially the ending. Pretty pivotal to the ending of that season. And he ends that season in a prison, Kingpin prison. He escapes because a guard was being ridiculously dumb, and that's the last we saw of him. And what we knew is that, or what we thought we knew, was that it was going to be a big year in 2026 for the Punisher. I mean, kind of crazy that the Punisher might be showing up in the most MCU projects in 2026, because we thought Daredevil Born Again Season 2, the Punisher special presentation, and then Spider-Man Brand New Day. So we know he's going to be in that Punisher special presentation, and we know he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I think we all just assumed he was going to be in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Well, according to one of the executive producers of the show, he's not going to be in that season. Sana Amanat, I think, is how you pronounce that name. I don't know. Probably very wrong. Told Empire magazine that Punisher will not be back for Season 2 because he will be in his own special presentation. Now, on the one hand, right, Daredevil is building an army, and Punisher escapes. And you're like, well, I mean, one of the first recruits should be Punisher, especially just given how Season 1 ended, right? Of course you'd think that. I thought that. Then again, and I mean, of course, in an ideal world, I think you'd have him in all three, probably. But I think that if you had to choose one for the special presentation, if you were going to do that special presentation that was going to focus on him post-escape, then I think it actually makes a decent bit of sense that maybe he's just on the run and he doesn't want to side with Daredevil and he just wants to do things his own way. That's sort of his MO. And I think it's kind of a cool idea to just focus on him. It's almost like, what if Daredevil Born Again Season 2 just had a Punisher episode? It would effectively be the same thing, because this special presentation is probably going to be 45 to 50 minutes long. So, in a sense, it's like, what if Daredevil Born Again Season 2 just had a Punisher standalone episode? Kind of be random, right? It would be kind of just, it wouldn't flow super well with the rest of the season. So, versus that, you could, compared to that, you could have just a Punisher special presentation. And you could just have him do his own thing. And I think that actually lends itself much easier, and this is my greater point here, to a connection with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because I just think one of the things that's been so interesting to track with Marvel over the last few years is how their connectivity had eroded, and then now they're starting to try to get it back. And having to connect Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Punisher special presentation, and Spider-Man Brand New Day, I think could have probably caused a lot of headaches. So it's just one less thing to kind of think about here in terms of, okay, so you now have Punisher just going from a straight shot from out of prison at the end of Season 1 into his special presentation where he's probably on the run or doing something, I don't know, and then straight into Spider-Man Brand New Day, because it's not like they're not connected, right? We've gotten confirmation, I think, from Brad Winterbaum, one of the television executives at Marvel, saying that, Punisher is going to be Punisher and Spider-Man Brand New Day and Daredevil, they're going to be connected in some way, right? But now I think it just makes the line of sight much clearer that you have a straight shot with Frank Castle's story arc. We'll see. I mean, it could very well end up being that these two things just have nothing really to do with one another. It's almost like he just shows up in Spider-Man just randomly and there's nothing there to explain it. I would be a little bummed out about that, because that's kind of been how the MCU has been operating lately. The characters just show up. Like Nick Fury going from Secret Invasion to the Marvels is my worst fear, right? That character, say what you will about Secret Invasion, that's fine. No continuity. Zero continuity between those two shows. And it's just a bummer, right? I know things got shuffled around, and originally the Marvels was going to come first and then Secret Invasion, which would have made a whole lot more sense. Anyways, all that aside. I think that I'm hoping that this allows for them to have more connective tissue between all the shows and the movies, and we can track Punisher's arc. So yeah, he's not going to be in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Maybe Jessica Jones, maybe Iron Fist, Luke Cage have bigger roles. We'll see. Because Daredevil needs an army, and you'd think that the Punisher would be first on his list if he knew that he escaped. But who knows? Maybe Daredevil doesn't even know he's escaped. It's kind of hard to believe that if he's running around the streets fighting the Hulk, but whatever, we'll see how that plans out. Guys, what do you make of all of this, that the Punisher is not going to be in Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Let me know in the comments down